Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Is my screen on? Alright. First and foremost here, let me just go step by step. What they've asked here in terms of the compensation is you need to create the below compensation structure. You need to start with creating your grade profiles and then tie them across to your job profile. Alright. First and foremost, compensation grade is going to be Apple management. Do you have any elements which have been mentioned over here? Do you have any elements which I mentioned over here? I'm not looking at it fully. Here it says only annual salary. You can very well take either annual salary or you can take base pay. Because the thing over here is, when you do it over here, the compensation grade, you are giving management over here. But you do have something called your grade profile, which is for management and your management India, management USA, that you need to give it over here. All your eligibility, rule management, India management, non-management, and all those stuff that's going to be coming over. And now what we are doing over here is Apple management is the grade that we are creating right now. And no eligibility default rules over here unless you want to mention that it's only for Apple management or Apple Hospitals Limited over here. That's it. You may have to create multiple ones. And this is at a grade profile. And this is usually not the case. There is small issue, I think, in this particular header because it is never in multi-currencies. It's never in multi-currencies. When you create a grade profile, like I said earlier, you're going to create one grade profile or grade rather only for one geography or a location with the same currency. Even if you're going to create one for the entire Europe, it will probably only be in Euro and not in Swiss franc and your dollars. That is all your other dollars, Europe's or probably Swiss franc or French, or if it's going to be like your subject, for it as INR. Since I gave it as IR, here I will pick the INR's one 30,000 to 50,000, 30,000 to 15,000. Since I gave it over here as, let me just split it. Since I gave it over here, I'm just splitting it equally. Alright, that is up to you. Whatever you want, you can do. There are multiple ways in which you can just do it. You can put the calculate segments and it's just going to split it equally. That's it. Nothing else, based on how many segments you've given over here, alright? Management India and non-management India. You just have to give it as management India as one of your grade profiles. And the other one is going to be non-management India. This is actually for the entire grade. I may even put it like for entire management India and non-management India. What is going to be the range? If 15 lakh or 5 lakh? I would rather choose it like not 15 lakhs. I would rather put it as 5 lakhs to 30 lakhs in my grade. What I'm doing here And then I'm just putting the calculate segment that it's going to automatically compute it. I'm just leaving it to the system to do it. Clear on this because I'm doing it in a different way. I'm just clubbing all the my India ones, management India, non-management India, where it's like 15 to 30,000, 30 lakhs. Right? 5 lakhs to 30 lakhs is going to be the range. I just split it equally amongst this. Then I'm giving it as management India grade profile description, also the same. And then I'm giving it as base pay. Eligibility rules. No, I was looking at the eligibility rules. For the eligibility rules, not only that. See here. This is where you need to pay attention. See here. It says management is going to be supervised and above. Because now I'm creating the India management grade profile. India management. Which one grade profile? Alright. Here, what should I give or what is the rule basis? What should be my rule basis? How did you create it or how do you go about this? Do you have any specific rule name? Cal underscore or something or just the same? You took this. Nearly there. Not precisely. Not precisely. But this is precisely the field that you should be looking at as well. Alright. If I were you, what I would rather use here is, they've clearly said that management is going. Management is going will be supervisor and above. You can use the same field that is here, which is the management level. But that management level is going to be supervisor and above. It's going to be supervisor and above. Let's see if there is a rule already available. Management level. Management level is going to be supervisor and above. Now I'm just randomly picking certain things over here just to give you see here. They've put it like salaried. And if it's going to be like director, vice president, executive, VP, board of directors, vice president, CEO levels, all these stuff. Similarly, you may have to build your rule, which is going to be manager and above. Or let's create one rule right now. Let's create a rule right now. And then use it over here. Works for you. Because create compensation eligibility rule. I'm putting this testarian. Here I'm giving it as manage and levels. And this is again, I think, multi-instance field. I'm taking the management level from the compensation. Simple as this. And they've said manager, supervisor and above. I'm taking supervisor and above. See here in this particular example that you see, or this particular tenant, how it is all managed is the management levels are not maintained properly over here. Don't take this as a real world scenario. But in a real world, your management structure is going to be really clean. Not like how you see it over here. Alright, this is just an example that I'm just taking. I'm taking levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. That's it. 6 and I'm going to put this non-management level. 6 and I'm taking it as non-management level, just for example. That I'll have some more distinction. I'm just taking it as manager and individual contributor in non-management cadre. Whereas the ones above the manager, I'm taking it as manager level. This is the way I would build my field or build my eligibility role. Clear on this, guys? Any questions? I'm going to tag this over here. Clear on this? How to go about with this? Any question? And then I already have my values over here. Management India is going to be 15 lakhs to 30 lakhs. I'm going to put it like alright. Clear on this? Any questions? And similarly, I would go ahead and create my next one as well. My non-management India, which is going to be for a negation of this particular rule. It's going to be like manager and below, or manager and individual contributor. That's what it's going to be in the other rule that you're going to be creating. And add it over here. Simple as that. Clear the rest of the folks. How you would go about with your grades, grade profiles. And then tag this along to my job profile. Clear on that? When you create a job profile, let me create one job profile and then show to you. That part of the picture is also done. Create job profiles as per the employee list. Let me pick one employee who has a managerial cadre. Alright. Let me say Apple, Vice President Admin. Creating a job profile. Always have it as 1900 only. Never something different. Never ever have something different. Let me put it like Apple Vice President, Admin. Alright. Clear on this? And next I'm going to be tagging the compensation grade. Job. Nothing much. Management level. I want to have a management level. I can give some management level since this is actually at a vice president level. Let me put it over here as vice president. Since it's already a vice president level. Clear thus far? Any questions on this? Alright. I have restricted to do. I want to have this restricted to a country. May want to have it. I may not want to have it. That's all completely up to me. Nothing else. Nothing is just preventing me from doing it over here. Alright. Pay rate type. I'm just going to say it since this is for India. I'm saying it as country as India. And pay rate type. Whatever pay rate type I have. Let me just have it as annual. Or let me just put it as whatever it's been already created. Probably they already have an annual created one. And then my grade. I'm just putting my grade that I created over here. And then in that particular grade, what is the grade profile that I have over here? Clear on this? This one. I'm not going to have it since it is not for US. I'm going to leave all those fill as a stuff. If fill as a job exam. Those who are from the US. You probably know it is nothing but your exemption status. Or your FESA related ones. This is really exempted. I don't want to get into that right now. I'm not having anything else. This is the way I would go about and create my job profile. Rest of the stuff. I have not filled out all of these. Doesn't mean that it's all blank. But if you want to fill it, you can just fill it out. But I'm just filling out only the most important one over here. How do you tag my job profile to my compensation grade? That's what I'm just concentrating right now. Clear on this? Any questions here, guys? Alright, this is more about the compensation plan that you need to create. Number 1. And have you created the car allowance, compensation grade and everything? Or not the compensation grade, the elements and everything. Have you created that? Now create an allowance plan which is going to be like car allowance plan. Apple car allowance plan. Create it as an allowance plan. And have you created the car allowance plan? Create an allowance plan. Create an allowance plan. Create an allowance plan. The third one. I already have something called as an allowance plan. Just straight away go ahead. And again here you are mentioning it as LEN 19800. But in your real world, I am just giving it over here because it's a default date. But there could be scenarios when you may be prompted by the business to create it effective a certain date. For example, your work from home, allowance or whatever. Because post-COVID we had many things. You may be eligible for an internet allowance, mobile allowance, telephone network, whatever communication allowance or whatever it's going to be called as. But that could have been effective only post-COVID, which could possibly be the 1st of April 2020. Such cases, your plan would be effective only 1st of April 2020. Just be mindful. Only in special scenarios are you allowed to give it your own date or what the business wants you. It should only be 1/1900. Oh, yes. Alright. Now give you a plan name. They've already given that. To please use the naming convention that is given in the sheet. Otherwise, you're going to lose. It's given as Apple Car Allowance Plan. And this is an allowance plan. Car allowance plan. Wait, 1 minute. Right. You see something called as FTE. Anybody knows what an FTE is? Suggestion or recommendation in this particular one. If you want, you can open the sheet and I can read it out for you. What they have seen. They have not mentioned it over there. All that they've said is for those folks in the managerial cadre or management cadre based out of Kolkata will get 5,000 INR per month. Those in the management cadre or management eligibility rule in Pune are going to get 4,000 a month. You want to apply the FTE over here. When exactly this FTE comes into play? Because this could be also a question for you as well. Because whenever you devise any salary plan, compensation plan, or even one of your pay rates or anything, I would definitely apply an FTE over there. Or what exactly is the concept of FTE? What exactly is the concept of an FTE over here? It is going to be prorated if an employee is going to join. If a managerial person is going to join mid of the month, it's going to be either prorated or if a person, in this particular scenario, if a person is going to be in a reduced workload, the person is working out of Mumbai or Pune. Sorry, Kolkata or Pune. If he's on a reduced workload, then again he's going to be only paid a proportion of or a portion of that amount which is in proportion to that particular FTE. And again, there could be certain employees. For example, in a real world scenario itself, I could have a vice president or a managerial person who is working 50% of his time out of Mumbai, and the rest of the 5% of the time he's going to be working out of Pune. He's going to have multiple jobs. That's also another scenario possible, especially in the vice president or managerial cadres. That is also possible. He'll be FTE, 50% FTE in Mumbai and 50% FTE in Pune. He should be getting only 50% of the elements in for the time that he's spending in Pune. Makes sense. Now you're able to tie all of this together. Where does this FTE come in? Clear on this? Whenever you create an elements plan, have it always FTE proportioned. Because this could be a business requirement. And in a real world scenario, this is very, very important. Otherwise, you're going to have some issues over there, which is going to come in. And again, let me tell you, compensation wise, if compensation and payroll, if you are going to make even a small error, that could cost the organization thousands, if not more. If not more. It could cost you thousands, and it will take a long time for it to be found. And once if it is found, the repercussions are going to be very, very bad. Probably heads will start rolling. Be very, very mindful when you create anything related to compensation because the repercussions are financial. And it's very difficult to recover the money. They will automatically recover from you, or worst case, heads will start to roll. Be very careful about it. Clear on this? Go ahead. Not an elements, columns. You already have an element over there that's called as car elements, or unless if you have created your own. These are all default values. Either you can choose to have something or you can just ignore it. I would rather have it as 0. Because if by any chance, if I'm going to be creating a compensation plan for the entire country, and if I'm going to put it over here as 1000 only for those in the grid that I'm going to give next, it will come as 4000 or 5000 based on the location, whether it's Pune or Kolkata. For the rest of the folks, default value will flow in. Anybody who's working out of Mumbai would even have it as 1000 if I'm going to put it as default value as over here. These are all default values. If you're going to give it over here, it's going to flow for the rest of the folks. Alright. Eligibility rule. Default eligibility rule is going to be management only. Here, you need to mention it as management. Or you can use my rule that I created. Just put it as RN manager. You can use my rule, the one that I used earlier, just for sample case. Real world, you can use the way that you want it. Just put it as manager. I'm just using a simple rule. One benefit of using that particular rule over there is, I need not bifurcate it further. Now go ahead in that grid. In that grid, I just need to only create 2 rules. One is for Pune and another is for Kolkata. And my job is done. For Pune it is 4000. And for Kolkata it is 5000. It's up to give you 2K, whatever values you would want. But this is the crux of this. If the rule is available, you can just give it. I'm not sure whether the rule is available. Just put it as Kolkata. Probably if somebody else created a rule, created it. Otherwise, just need to understand the rule alone. Whatever. Apple Kolkata or something. BP underscore whatever. And go to that particular rule, please. 1 minute. Highlight. Go to that particular rule. Just just location. Over here is Kolkata. This is the way you would rather create it. And this is from the employee's primary position that is there. If the employee's primary position is going to be Kolkata, then you would go for this particular rule. And if the employee is working out of multiple locations, you can say whichever position or any of his locations are Kolkata. Then this rule is going to be kicking in. That's it. That is the way you would go about with this particular rule. Oh, I think you gave it wrong. The first one has to be Pune. Pune is 4000, Utter is 5000. Never mind. Let's map it also. Not an issue. Guys, when you create the real one, just put it as Pune as 4000 and Kolkata as 5000. That's fine. How to go about with this? Any questions? We've seen about compensation plans, how to create a job profile, tagging all those job profiles. All the job profiles should have been. I hope that everybody has at least started creating the job profiles as well, right? Any questions here? TL job profiles before we proceed on to the next question. Next part of this particular activity is going to be your security and role assignments. Alright, how would you create this? First on it, you need to create a role-based security group called as Apple Manager. It should be for supports and assigned by your security admins. How would you go about this? A fairly straightforward one. Come on guys, anything. How would you proceed with 6-day? I'm going just having this saved. Maintain assignable roles. I'm putting a new one. Ignore all the errors that are there, like several errors. I'm just ignoring this. Alright. And what would be the Workday role? Do we have a Workday role already created or not? Do we have a Workday role created already for this? Or do you want me to leave it as blank? If it is a manager, I would map it to my Workday role as manager. If it's an HR admin, I would map it directly to my Workday role as HR admin. Since I haven't created right now, I'm just leaving this with black. Enabled for. Where will this be enabled? Probably guys, you're all back from your Dashera and a little bit of slack. I'm just going back. Just putting it as Aryan-manager. And I'm saying supervisory org. This is. Alright? All these options. Should I check any of them that is given in the exercise or any suggestions that you have? Should I have something over here or can just leave it as such? Whatever is given over here. Anything else that I need to do? Over. Apart from this, based on this particular case that is given here, what else do I need to do? Alright. Security admin. Given here is security admin. This is the person who is going to be able to administer the entire security group, including assignments and everything. Alright. And should I have some role assignees, restrictions as well over here? Anything that is given over here. That is given over here as restrictions. I can possibly give this as Apple Manager because here they are saying They are saying the roles and or all the security groups to the workers at the top of the Apple hospitals where applicable. Alright, here I am saying Apple manager is going to be only Chad Anderson. Chad Anderson is going to be the Apple manager. Nobody else is going to be the Apple manager. Probably. I can even say that only those who are at the top of the stack, probably a management level of 7 and above, will be a chair, will be your Apple manager. Nobody else's will be an Apple manager. I can possibly look at it. Possibly I can assign this or I can have this role assignees restricted to that particular profile as well, if I do want to. Otherwise, it's all good. Any questions here? How to proceed on with this? That's number one step. I'm just heading. I'm ignoring all the errors that are possibly coming over here as well. Moving on directly. What should be the next step that I need to do? What is the next step that I need to do to complete my role-based assignment? What will be the task that I'm going to be hitting next? I will say create security group. And then when I go to the type, I will say it as role-based. Is it a constraint or an unconstrained? Why would I want to have it as a constrained security group rather than an unconstrained? User-based. Really? Not really user-based. Why am I actually giving it over here as a constrained versus an unconstrained one? What is the rhetoric behind this? Why am I not giving it as an unconstrained over here? Answer is over here in the maintenance enable rules itself. You can just open this and show it across to you as well. Right? The answer is over here as well. I've given you one more hint. Why am I giving it as a constrained role-based security group over here rather than an unconstrained? Only for Apple. I have not given any kind of restrictions over here. I can assign it to even a Facebook or an Amazon as well. I have not given it to any kind of restrictions over here. Role restrictions assignments. I have not given any assignment restrictions over here. I can assign this same rule even for a Facebook or a Meta if I'm going to maintain it on the same tenant. There's no restrictions over there. But somewhere else I'm restricting it. This is enabled only at a support level. No, and I cannot assign it outside of the support to a user. I can assign it only for a person who's belonging to that particular support. And the scope of this particular role is only within that particular supervisory organization to which this role belongs to. Nowhere else. Clear on that? Please be very, very clear on the concept because it is contained in a container. That's it. Simple as that. Right. And I'm going to give my role name as Aryan Apple Manager. Right. Assignable role. What's going to be the assignable role? What will be the assignable role over here? Whatever I've given over here will come in over here. Like I said when I create a role-based security group, this assignable role is nothing but your maintain assignable roles. Whatever is going to come in over here, the other part of the setting or the configuration is going to come from here. This assignments role, who's going to be assigning? What is going to be the restrictions? All of this is going to come from here only. Clear on this? Alright, and what else? What else have they mentioned over here? Anything else that I need to create apart from this? I'm concentrating only on 6A. Let's not go to one to another stuff. Only anything else that I need to do over here while creating my role-based security group. Very simple. What should I do over here? Access rights to organizations. What should I do over here? It is given over here as well. Assignment by security group is already assigned over here and maintain assignable roles. We've already done that. What? I heard another person talking. All subordinates. What exactly is the difference between second option and third option? We've discussed this in detail. What exactly means is meant by an unassigned subordinate. What exactly is the meaning of that? He does not have this particular role. What will happen for them? Naturally, inheritance will naturally apply for those who do not have an assignment in that particular level or in the child or the reporting supervisory organization. Reporting supervisory organization. Whereas if you are going to assign it, it's going to be overwritten. Whereas in your third option, which is assigned to or apply to current organization and all subordinates, it's going to automatically apply to all my child supervisory organizations as well. Or your reporting supervisory organizations by default. By default, it is going to apply. And if you wish to override it, you can possibly override it. And the next one, the last option is, if I want to apply this only to a certain level of hierarchy, I'm going to have it from L1 and then L1 level supervisory organization. That is the child supervisory organization or man reporting supervisory organization. L2 reporting supervisory organization. How many levels I would like to restrict it? That's what is the fourth option. And if I'm going to choose first option, it is not going to get inherited at all. Clear on this, guys? Clear on this? I think we already discussed this in detail during our role-based assignment security groups. Alright, clear on this? What option am I going to choose over here? Have they given anything over here? They have given only assigned, enabled for supervisory organizations and assigned by your security administrator. What is the best option that you would use? And I'm creating an Apple manager over here and says Chad Anderson is going to be the person. And there is one more clue over here which is given over here as well. What would you do based on that? There is something which is given over here which is going to take care of this. What is that? What is that? How do you in or how did you infer that? It's given over here. Assign the following roles and the security groups to the workers at the top of the Apple hospitals, where applicable. Organization and what is going to be the organization and what is going to be the all subordinates or unassigned subordinates. Which one are you going to choose? Come out with a business rhetoric as well, because this is very important. I will explain the options once again for you guys as well. You may choose the best fit options and provide your justification. What is going to be the rhetoric behind it? Or which one would you suggest to a business? Which is the best fit option over here? Whether you're going to choose option 2 or 3. We can go for 3 because, see, the only nuances or only difference between 2 and 3 is if it is going to be an unassigned one, it is going to pick it. And if you're going to assign something, it's not going to pick it here. It's going to be for everything. By default itself, This is going to be assigned to the all the child supervisor organization. There's no difference over there. Next, assign to multiple workers. If I want to have this particular role-based security group assigned to multiple people, I can have this option set. Best of part, I'm done with this. Clear on this, guys? Clear on how to create the security group? How to go about the security group in this particular exercise? Any questions? And 6A1 is all part of your higher business process. However, whenever you create your higher business process, this is the way you need to do it. And they've already given you the domains that you need to provide access to the Apple Manager. Person data, date of birth, citizenship, status, gender. And you need to give you and modify access to the Apple Manager. Clear on this? Anything else that is not clear on the security and the role assignments? And this one, I believe all of this is straightforward. Just need to assign this particular group. Some of them are going to be user-based security groups. Some of them are role-based security groups. Clear on this? Any questions, guys, on security? How long will this security group assignment take for you? Possibly 20 minutes max. If you're able to proceed on with this, if you're able to read it line to line and possibly get some of the hidden meanings over here as well, it's going to be good. Alright. I don't want you all to go back to your examination days, back in your school, colleges, or whenever, but it's more like it. Clear on this? How to proceed on with this? Any questions here? Alright. The last one over here that we have is the business process, which is fairly a straightforward business process that we have over here. Nothing different. They've already given the security groups who should be performing what during a higher business process. We've already done sample ones over here. Any challenges that you guys might possibly see in this? Any? Are we clear with the higher? How to create the higher business process? You may have to create one for your supervisory organization that you're going to create, which is Apple Hospitals. We've already created that particular supervisory organizations, Apple Hospitals. We created it last week. The same thing. You just have to create a higher BP for that particular supervisory org, business object, and then have all these steps on figured all the way from initiate till completion. Clear on this? Any questions? Anybody who tried it? Probably you might have got. You probably would have got stuck in your job profiles or your compensation, security, etc. But those who've proceeded and created at least a business process definition. Heard somebody? Are you clear on the concept? What needs to be done over here? Or these steps? Alright. Just try to create this particular business process and let me know if there are any challenges as well. Reach out to support if you do have any questions. Probably I'll just ship in if you need any support. Alright? Clear on this? Can we proceed on to the next one? Number 8. Number 8. Can we just proceed on to this? This one. I want one of you to tell me. I'm not going to do this. It's a very, very simple one. I want you to proceed on with this. Or, if somebody wants to try it live, we can go about with this as well. How do you go about with this? Or what is going to be the business object? What is going to be your data source? What are you going to use? How do you proceed with this? And what is the type of report they're going to be doing? And here it's very simple. They are just saying that for our Apple hospitals, create this particular report with employee support, job profile, manager, location, salary, and your currency. That's it. Simple as that. It's a very fairly straightforward and a simple report. What is going to be your primary data source that you're going to create? Alright, I've chosen a simple report. You can choose whatever you want. But if you want to go for some more advanced stuff and everything, you can go for an advanced report. Otherwise, by all means, I would rather classify this only as a simple report because it does not have too many complexities over here. It's up to you. But again, it's up to you. And Kalani, have they given any naming convention for that report? They haven't given any report name over here. But just use something relevant over here. Instead of KV simple report, use something Apple and everything. Because you're creating this for Apple hospitals. Alright? Workers for HCM reporting is a common data source which we use for any worker relevant information. Any worker relevant information that I need to pull in. I use the data source worker for HCM reporting and nothing else. That's the way I would proceed on with it. Alright, go ahead. Alright. I have filter sorting everything over here. Do I need anything additional apart from these? And the data source filter says only all active workers. Is that? Or do you want to change it to something else? All active workers, all employees terminated, active plus terminated. You have many filters available. You can apply based on your rhetoric and the business case. That is going to be applicable. But choose it wisely. That's it. Alright, go ahead. And what are the fields that they've asked over there? First one. No. The field name is not employee name. What will be the field name that you're going to be applying over here? It's worker. And don't choose the text field over here. Whenever you choose worker, don't choose the text field. Rather choose the single instance field which is going to come up. Don't choose the. You'll have some field called as worker as a text. You may have something called as a single instance field as well. Just go to the related actions. Because the first field is a single instance field. Alright, it's a self-referencing single instance field. Always only choose this. And not another field. You will get another field below. If you just scroll down as well, you will get another field which is more a text one. And the reason, we will see it when we get to the output report. Alright, choose this field please. Alright? And you can say employee name or however you want to have it. Because they've given it like name. You can just put like employee name. And next, what is the next field? That is support. You can use smaller versions of that. Supervisory organization. Why did you choose this one? Did you check the related business object? It is coming from the worker business object. Always, whenever you add something in the report, be very mindful of the business object that it's part of. Be very careful. Alright. The next one is job profile. Because I can create an LRV, which is another business object. Like even a position, I can have a supervisory organization. I can create practically an LRV and bring that out as well. Not an issue. It says LR manager. Any other fields which are available which is going to say supervisor or something. Now this is manager role. You can check that in your worker BVO as well if you would want. The next one that they've asked for is your location. The rest of the folks, are you with whatever she's doing over here? Any questions on whatever Krishna Moini is doing? Location and then your currency. Don't put it as annual salary. Just have it as salary. Because there by annual salary, you may get an annualized salary as well. Alright. This is a salary plan. Average salary. Krishna Moini, there are two things over here which you can possibly do because you're getting stuck with the fields. Actually, one, you can directly go to the worker profile. And remember, I taught you one mechanism where you can do related actions reporting, reporting, and then fields and values. Reporting fields and values. You can go to that particular option. And wherein you are going to be pulling the value directly from the worker profile. Whatever is displayed in the worker's compensation profile. And the other way is you can go to the worker BO directly. Directly go to the worker business object and find out what is the salary for that particular worker. Clear on this? Two options that I have given you. Tomorrow, when you get stuck with this, you can directly do it as well. Now here you can use business object. If you go to business, spelling is incorrect. Business object details. Yes, correct. Business object details. Work. It's going to have a few hundred fields. And it usually takes at least a few minutes to load. Because this is again a training tenant. And there are many custom fields which have been created by folks in this particular tenant. That's why it's going to take a while for it to load. Be very mindful about it as well. I could directly go to the worker business object, find out what is going to be the relevant field, and then proceed on with this as well. Alright? For now, you can possibly use base pay, annualized pay, or anything of that sort. That is going to be more relevant one over here. Go to the top. Go to the top. Not even total base pay. There is something called as put it as base pay. Come on, base pay amount. Total base pay amount. Go to the relevant actions. Without checking the relevant actions, please turn on to it. Alright. You can make a note of this as well. Total base pay. This is similar to what you get in the US. It's going to contain the summation or the aggregation of all your pays, including elements. That is part of the US pay structure. Go ahead. And the next field that they've asked is the currency. And again here itself, you do have the currency field. But what they've asked is the currency field as well. In the total base pay amount, there is a field which is without the currency as well. But if you want to choose this, that's. But I would rather say, let's for practice purpose, let's choose the currency field as well. Now add another field and put it as currency. currency. This is the contingent worker. That's the contingent worker. It says currency for contingent worker's primary position. Please do not choose that. What else? Which one? Which one? You've chosen base pay. Excuse me. I would rather choose something similar to that. Base pay currency. Something of that sort. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Pay group currency. I may even look at pay group currency. I have something called as pay group currency. What is that? Anybody knows? What is pay group currency? Pay group currency is also relevant over here. And that is obviously going to give me the right value as well. Why I said is everybody is going to be assigned a particular pay group. You could be paid monthly, which is like once in 2 months, or bi-weekly, which is again once in a fortnight. Or you could be paid daily, hourly, whatever it is. But your pay group that you are assigned as a part of is going to be having a currency, which is the same as your pay currency as well. That's why I said you can possibly look at pay group currency as well. I purposefully took this particular field because I want to explain that pay group currency concept as well. You can look at this. There are other fields over here as well, like your annualized currency and other fields, total base pay currency, and many other fields as well. Right? If you know the concept and understand it, very well, it is easy as well to do it. Clear, guys, on this? Any questions? You can choose pay group currency. It's going to be good. And what else to be done over here? You have added all the fields right now. What is next? As per the requirement, alright? You are getting all the employees that are there in the tenant. You are going to get thousands of employees. Whereas what do they ask you? That's why you missed it. Alright? Clear on this? What they asked you to do is a filter. Which field? Alright? Come to columns. Go to format options. Again support. Again support. Or no. On the right side you have something called as options. Valid option. You are not getting it over here because we usually have an option over here wherein we can directly tie this to a filter. I am not sure why that is not set up over here. That's why. We can directly. That option is not created over here because what we usually do is come to columns, come to the options, and we say directly tie this down to a filter or a prompt column. This is going to be automatically available either as my prompt, as a part of my subwork, or as a part of my filter or prompt. Either way, that particular option usually comes in over here. That option is not created over here. That's why you are not getting it. Now go to your filter. Go to your filter and then add the columns. No. Cancel this. Go to the filters option. When you are going to apply a filter on a column, that is already there on the report. Go to the options, please. Click on that. Click on Fields. No. There is a first one over there, Fields on Report. Always choose the field over here. That's a different one. They have not given that particular filter. That particular filter setting. Go for the supervisor organization. Because they expect that to be also prompt. That's why. Supervisor organization. Primary position. Alright. Is equal to or whatever. Equal. It's not available in this. You should say equal to, since you give it as is. That's how it is coming. Either you should say equal to or in. If you need, you reject. Selection list. Now it's coming. Now give your supervised dog name kiwi underscore whatever. If you have created our Apple, good. That's it. Now click. That's it. Clear on this. Guys, how to proceed with this? Any questions? We have completed this exercise right now. This report also, it's not going to take that long for you to create because you've just done a simple report over here. I am not going to advanced report because time is very crucial over here in a real world. And if I want to put in a simple report, I wouldn't really want to go through all the tabs of an advanced report, have all those options over there. Rather, create a simple report which is going to fit my bill. That's the reason why I told you that you can go for a simple report as well, as long as you know the options that are going to be available. As long as you know what the requirement is, you can possibly choose whether you want to do a simple report, advanced report, metrics report, whatever you want to do. You. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.